and welcome to Howard's Horse Handicapping. This is Howard Kravitz. Thanks for joining me tonight on the live stream. I really appreciate it. There are many things that you could do, whether you are watching live right now or whether you'll be watching the replay. First of all, please make sure that you subscribe right there. Hit that subscribe button and join my YouTube channel so we can make it grow. Also, there's a scroll down below. You can please read that as well. And make sure you comment down below in the video player. The only way that we're going to make this channel better and give you the content that you want is if you comment down below in the video player. So please make sure you do that. Also, you can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter has been growing. My Twitter handle has been growing. I really appreciate all of the compliments and kind words and great give and take that's happening out there. You can follow me on Twitter at HKravitz. The spelling is on the scroll there. HKRA, V as in victory, E, T as in Tom, S as in Sam. I've got a lot of things I want to talk about, but the first thing that I want to talk about very briefly, this is a handicapping channel in general, but something that's come up recently I want to talk about. Right now as we speak, I believe it's still going on. There's some protests going on at Golden Gate. Some PETA folks and other people are protesting. I'm not going to get into a long diatribe and a big major comments about everything, but let me just say this before we get started into the Pick 6 tonight for Saturday's Santa Anita card, which is going to be fantastic. Here's the only thing I want to say about what's going on. If you own a horse, or if you train a horse, all I ask you to do is to love your horses like they were your own children. That's it. These horses, and not because they make money for you, because you just love animals and you love horses. That's it. 95, 96, 99% of the people out there that train and know horses are great people who care very much about this game and take care of their animals so well. But there are a few knuckleheads out there, just like there are in any other business. Just please take care of your horses very, 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 very well. That's it. That's all I got to say about that. As we talk throughout the show today, also, I need you to join our chat. There's a chat. The only way that we're going to have a great conversation, other than just me talking, I want to respond to you. So please chat comments, and so we can talk as we go along throughout the night. I'll be reading your comments in the chat, and we'll be talking about them. So please make sure you do that as well. If I look to my left, I'm just periodically looking over to see who wants to chat. Chat about my picks tonight. Chat about anything in horse racing, but probably more specific to the Pick 6 that we're going to be discussing here tonight. Okay, got that off my chest. Let's talk about Saturday. Now, the other thing I just want to mention is I know my sound not perfect. I just happen to be recording in my office, and my office has wood floors with some carpeting. I know it's a little bit tinny. I apologize for the sound not being perfect, but I know the most important reason you're here is to get great content and hopefully some winning picks from me. And so that's why we're here tonight. So let's talk about Saturday. So Saturday, Santa Anita, Pick 6. It is a mandatory 20-cent Pick 6 payout. They all have a carryover, a lot of money in there, close to $1 million, if not over $1 million. As long as one person only does not hit it on Friday, it will carry over into Saturday. And Saturday's card is unbelievable. You got 6 races in the sequence, starting in race 6. It involves 4 grade stake races, 2 grade 1s, 2 grade 2s, 2 other nice races, including an allowance race, and then ending with an... and I gotta say, I love Santa Anita. I think it's a great track. I bet it all the time. I'm not a big fan of the racing secretary putting the last race of the sequence as a maiden special weight on dirt with a bunch of first-time starters. You can't see the board. You've got to do your homework. Well, guess what? I've done the homework for you already. Now, before I get specific into the pick six, I will say that I'm going to be buying Clocker Report, and the Clocker Reports do not come out usually until tomorrow night. I really like what Andy Harrington does. His Clocker Reports come out in the National Turf. That's the name of the workout report. Again, I don't work for them. Anything that I provide on this show, I'm not getting paid for any of it. These are just my tools. So my opinions might very well change after I look at the workout report tomorrow night, on Friday night. So these opinions are based on without seeing the specific workout reports. But I've done a lot of homework on all 6 races. We're going to show some replays, and I'm including the last race, which I won't be showing replays, but we're talking a lot of pedigree plays, because the last race, which is a 12-horse maiden race, there's a lot of firsters, and you don't want to waste money or hit just an all button just because you don't know what to do with these horses. That's a bad excuse. You need to do your homework. I've done a lot of homework for you already tonight, and we'll get to that. So again, thanks for joining me. Please make sure you chat. I want you to put some comments there in the chat so we can have some give and take. I'll be reading your comments, and we can talk back and forth as we go along. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to be talking about the first race of the sequence, and it is race 6. Let's go right now to the first race of the pick 6, and it's race 6. So, race 6 is a 7-horse field, 3-year-old restricted. It's the grade 2, San Felipe. They're going a mile of 16th on the dirt. This is a Kentucky Derby prep. The winner gets 50 points, second place 20 points, and whoever finishes third gets 10, and then down to 5. So this is a very important race for the Kentucky Derby prep, and it opens the pick 6 sequence. So obviously there's a big favorite. If you've been following the 3-year-old scene, Bob Baffert has what a lot of people believe is a very good horse, and I do too, called Life is Good. Life is Good is 4 to 5 on the morning line. Dream Shake, the 2, ran a monster race first time out, going 6.5, beating another Baffert horse that was supposed to be unbelievable but did not run great, called Bezos. Then you have Medina Spirit, who's also a Baffert horse. So Baffert's got 2 in here. Always be aware of that. I see Barry O'Brien has joined. And Brian, thanks for joining me. Brian, I look forward to beating you when I see you at the poker table next time. So I play cards with Brian. Brian, thanks for joining me. I hope you stick around also. Then you got None Above the Law, who has absolutely no chance, in my opinion. The Great One won by 14 with a 9-2 buyer last time. He's a player for Doug O'Neill. Governor's Party, I don't think will be a factor, but has the ability to close. And then the 7, Roman Centurion for Simon Callahan. So let's talk about this race in general. First of all, there is definitely some speed in this race. Now, I'm going to show you a replay. I'm actually going to show you 2 replays. First replay I want to show you is the Life is Good Medina Spirit race from January 2nd. Life is Good in his second start earned a 101 buyer. He's definitely going to be the favorite. It wouldn't shock me if he's even below 4 to 5 in this spot. And I'm not going to show you the whole race, but we are going to look at 2. We're going to watch the race a little bit here. Life is Good is the 1, and Medina Spirit is the 5. And what you're going to notice right away is that the 5 is Life is Good. Excuse me. The 5 is Life is Good, and the 1 is Medina Spirit. So you see Life is Good on the outside. Actually didn't break great. Got to the lead. He was 1 to 5 in this spot. I'm going to leave the sound off. And I just want to go ahead and get to the midway down they're about to hit the final turn here. You see 46 and 3. This is a fast pace. And Medina Spirit in second is asking to keep up with Life is Good. Now keep in mind this was Life is Good's first time around 2 turns. Life is Good, 110 and 3 in hand. No problem. And then, here's what you have to figure out what happened here. Mike Smith is not moving a muscle on Life is Good. And you can see Medina Spirit is definitely picking up lengths here. And finally, Mike Smith asks, and he ends up winning but it was pretty close. So the question is, how do you feel about that race? Was Life is Good getting tired? Does he not want to get the distance? You can see there that Mike Smith really didn't ask at all until the end. Now, this race looks a lot to me like Authentic. This is what they're comparing, where Authentic won the Haskell when he just sort of idled on the lead, and I believe it was Math Wizard came up to him and almost beat him. I think Life is Good is going to have no problem with the distance. I just think he idled a bit on the lead and became a little bit disinterested. I don't think distance is a problem at all, in my opinion. Do you want to take 3 to 5 on this horse? Now, as you all know, I'm going to be playing an ABC ticket. In general, I'll give you a caveman ticket also, but in general, I'll be playing an ABC ticket. So the question is, what do you want to do with Life is Good? Well, there's other speed in the race. I do not think Life is Good is an absolute cinch. Dream Shake, I'm not going to show you the replay, ran huge, but this is a big ask. It's the first time around 2 turns. He's also facing very good horses. I'm using Dream Shake very defensively as a C horse. I'm going to use Medina Spirit as a B. He also, shows speed. You can see that he almost beat Life is Good last time, but I think that was a little bit misleading. The other race I want to show you is the Medina Spirit race, along with the other horse I'm very interested in, which is Roman Centurion. So we're going to show that race, and again, I'm not going to show you the whole race, but I will show you a bunch of it. Medina Spirit is the 1, and Roman Centurion is the 5. This was the Bobby Lewis Stakes Grade 3, and I will say that Medina Spirit definitely ran the better race here. Medina Spirit is the 1. Roman Centurion is the 5. They went pretty fast up front, and Medina Spirit got pushed really the whole way. You can see that there's 3 horses pretty close to the lead. This is 22 and 4. He's getting pushed. Meanwhile, you see in the back there's Roman Centurion just sitting pretty. We're going to speed up just a little bit. Again, you're still going fast, and I did believe that Roman Centurion, the 5, had every chance to go by. We're going to watch in this stretch here. Hot Rod Charlie is the 4. He's not in this race, but he's a nice horse who finished second to Essential Quality in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last year. Right here, I thought Roman Centurion was going to go by. He got a little goofy with his lead changes, and he's lugging in a little bit also. So there was some bumping with Hot Rod Charlie. I still thought he was going to go by, but Medina Spirit dug in tremendously. Now, as you can see, they crossed the wire, 3-way finish. It was a fantastic finish. You could arguably say that Medina Spirit ran a much better race than Roman Centurion, and it's hard for me to disagree with you in that situation. But here's my general feeling. There's a lot of speed in this race. I didn't even talk about the other horse. Let's talk about another horse in this race very briefly that's going to be a player, and that's the 5, the Great One. Here's my problem with the Great One. He won by 14. I don't think he beat anyone. It was a 4-horse field. You see Affable finished second, and although he ran 2 pretty good races, those were sprint races, and when they stretched him out, he could not compete at all. The other horse that he really did battle with, the Great One, was Fenway, who was a first-time horse for Bob Baffert. Now, Fenway did come back to win. He finished second, with an 81 buyer. So that is a feather in the cap of the Great One. That is a good sign for the Great One, that he beat a good horse. The problem is, Fenwick didn't really run at all in the race against the Great One. So yes, he won by 14, but there's other speed in the race. This is a much, much more difficult field, and my general feeling is the Great One is up against it, although I know some smart people that think this horse can win. So I'm going to show you my ABC ticket at the end, but in general, I'm going to go single A with Life is Good, the 1. I just think he's extremely talented, that he could probably overcome pace pressure. Now, when I go through these ABCs, I might change them Saturday. It depends on the workout reports and some other things. I'm going to use the 3 Medina Spirit and 7 Roman Centurion as B horses, and my C's are the 2 and 5 Dream Shake, and the Great One. It's going to be a fantastic race. I would not be surprised if Life is Good loses. He is not a cinch from the inside at all, especially if he takes a lot of pace pressure. I can't believe they're just going to let him walk on the lead. It should be fairly honest, but this horse is very, very talented. There are a bunch of big favorites in this sequence, similar to last week's Pick 5 that we discussed at Gulfstream, that you're going to have to make some, or Pick 4, that we discussed, that you're going to have to make some decisions on. I see we have a bunch of people watching right now. I really appreciate it. Again, please comment in the chat, type in the chat anything you'd like to ask me about as we go along, or any comments you have, and I'll be happy to reply to those. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the next race in the Pick 6 sequence. And the next race in the Pick 6 sequence, I have to chuckle, has my buddy. Let me just go back and explain. Who's my buddy? So, the number 2 in this race is Whisper Not. Now, if you don't follow Santa Anita, or you don't follow my YouTube channel in general, you probably have never heard of Whisper Not. The 2 Whisper Not is a nice horse, and I just want to, before I show you the past performances, I talked to my lawyer. My divorce papers are written. They're ready to go. If Whisper Not does not win on Saturday, I'm signing those divorce papers, and I will never bet Whisper Not again for a very long time. I've been chasing Whisper Not the 2 for a few times. And I shouldn't say he's been really disappointing. I mean, he's ran well, but he has not won. I'm leaning on Whisper Not the 2 very, very heavily in the Pick 6 Saturday. This horse needs to win. Let's go ahead and take a look at that race. If he doesn't win, gone. I'm not going to be using Whisper Not for a long time. So let's talk about this race. This is a mile race on the turf. It's allowance. Now, the turf rails, I'm sure, are going to be down. So they're going to be running on fantastic grass. The turns are going to be a little bit tighter. So you want to save ground on the inside. That also means closers should have no problem. The weather is supposed to be great. They did get a little bit of rain earlier this week. It's supposed to be beautiful there today, tomorrow, Saturday. Very, very small chance of rain. I'm sure it'll be fine. A little bit on the cooler side. Yeah, high 60s in California. I really feel bad for you, as I'm in the Chicago area in 40-degree weather, although it is warming up. So let's talk about this race. I want to go right to, this is a 8-horse field, and I want to go right to the 2. I see Barry O'Brien asked me about this race already, and let me just zoom a second here in and out. Sorry, just want to make sure we get all the horses in. Barry O'Brien's already asked me, what do I think of the 7 I believe he's talking about this race. So we're going to get to that, Barry. You said that the 1 for 27 scares you. Yeah, we'll talk about the 7 Gaga in a minute. So Whisper Not, I don't want to show any replays because I don't want to make this a 2-hour-long live stream tonight. But Whisper Not, if you just do a quick glance, I mean, even if you're a very inexperienced handicapper, if you just look at the buyers, you've got Club Aspen ran 88 last time against Whisper Not. Whisper Not is consistently run in the low 90s, even a 94. If you scroll down, I'm going to scroll down slowly. You've got mid-80s for Rip City. You've got basically low to mid-80s Liberal. Tiberius Mercurius, again, low 80s. Tripoli, mainly low to mid-80s. He did run 187, but that was going 6.5 with an extremely fast pace. There's Barry's horse that you talked about, Galgan, who's 1 for 27. He's run races. Okay, he's got a few in the high 80s, but he's 1 for 27. Keep that in mind. And then you have Fantastic, who has run in the 70s. So even if you're a handicapper that is not experienced, Whisper Not looks like a big favorite. Let me tell you about Whisper Not. His first race on November 29th in this country ran a great race against some good older horses when he was running against a 3-year-old. He got a little bit of trouble, angled out, almost won. I bet him pretty heavily in the Mathis Brothers Grade 2 on December 26th. And he run well, but again, he was on the inside. He was pulling a little bit. When he finally found room, he came out. But look who he lost to, guys. He lost to Storm the Court. Sorry, Smooth Like Straight, who is in the stake race later that we're going to go through in the Kilroy Mile. And he's going to be a big, he's going to be a well-bet horse in that race. And then Storm the Court, who won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile on dirt and is an experienced horse. Smooth Like Straight and even Storm the Court, if they were in this race, they would be, Smooth Like Straight would be 1-10. And Storm the Court would be 2-5. So the last time, what happened? I singled him in, the last time on February 6th was the last time there was a mandatory pick 6 carryover, actually at Santa Anita. And I singled him. What happened? He got a weird trip. They're going a mile and eighth. He was pulling on the outside. They went way too fast, 45 and almost 46, 109 and 4. It seemed like Rosario couldn't really control him, and he lost by a length, but he still ran a 92 buyer. Now they go to Flavian Pratt. My feeling is they're going to try to cover this horse up a little bit, and I think he probably wants shorter. And to me, he is just absolutely the most likely winner by far. I see Tom Espinoza has joined us tonight. Tom, thanks for joining tonight. You asked about Roman Centurion. Yeah, Roman Centurion, the last race, Tom, I think is very interesting. If there's a horse that I would upgrade, I think it would be this horse because of the pace situation. There seems like it should be a fast pace, and he seems like he'll be the best closer. My only concern is he should have won last time. But he's an empire maker. Usually the empire maker horses take a little bit further time to develop. I completely agree with you. I like Roman Centurion a lot in the previous race. I might even upgrade him to an A. But back to this race. Whisper Not is my clear choice. He's my only A in this race. I don't even have any Bs as of right now. Basically, if Whisper Not does not win this race, that's going to cause some trouble for me in my pick 6. I can still win if Whisper Not doesn't win, but if he doesn't win, that's going to make hitting this ticket a lot more difficult. Club Aspen did only lose to Whisper Not by 2 lengths last time. That was an improved effort for Club Aspen, but you'd have to see the replay. He just sat a good trip and ran around while Whisper Not did all the dirty work. Whisper Not was so much better than 2 lengths, better than Club Aspen. It's ridiculous. I think Whisper Not is 4 to 5 lengths better than Club Aspen. I'm using Club Aspen as a C horse just in case. I'm also going to use Rip City as a C horse because he projects to be on the lead, and that always scares me. But again, he's never run faster than an 85 buyer. So I don't like him winning the race, really, but I'm going to use him as a C just in case something happens. Tripoli. I'm going to use Tripoli as a C because I respect John Sadler, and I think he might be a little better longer. I'm going to use Tripoli as a C. The horse that Barry O'Brien was asking about is the 7, Gauguin. Now, Gauguin was scratched out of a race not too long ago, and they rested him up for this spot. Usually, I'm completely against 1 for 27s. I wouldn't even use this horse normally. But Neil Drysdale has him. He's got blinkers on, and he has run races on the East Coast, which generally speaking are better turf races, that would be competitive in this race and could beat Whisper Not if there's a very fast pace and if he gets the right trip and he's got Flora and Giroux. If I were to move a B horse up, if I were to move a horse up to a B, it'd probably be Gauguin or Rip City as Bs, but really I do not want to spend a lot of money in this race other than Whisper Not. There are other heavy favorites in this sequence that I'm trying to beat, including Life is Good and one other one we'll talk about later. Whisper Not, I am really not trying to beat. And again, I think you have to make some decisions. Now, let me just talk about this ticket just a little bit because it's important. When we talk about ticket construction, right, you have some heavy favorites. You have to decide what ticket you're going to put together. I would never tell any of you out there how much money to spend on a ticket. I will show you my tentative ticket for this live stream. But if you're just going to play favorites, you're not going to get paid. Now, it might sound like that comment is being hypocritical because Whispernaut's going to be a pretty heavy favorite and I'm singling him mainly. But I think there are even heavier favorites like Life is Good and other well-known horses that will even be bigger singles than Whispernaut. So that's another reason why I'm going to single Whispernaut. By the way, this game is called gambling. I mean, you've got to take some chances, and I'm going to lean heavily on Whispernaut. Like I said, I've got the divorce papers are ready in case Whispernaut does not do the job for me. Again, if you have any other comments about this race in general, feel free. I didn't really talk about the pace scenario. Club Asking wants to be a little bit up close. Rip City wants to be up close. Tiberius Mercurius, who's a new horse for John Sheriffs, looks like mid-pack. Tripoli has got some sprint speed. I think he'll be up close. And Galgan is a definite closer. So I think there's enough speed. I'd like to see Flavian Pratt actually take off a little bit and take back a little bit. You know, be just mid-pack on the inside and then just run them down in the stretch. That's how I envision race 7 happening. All right, so let's go on now. We're going to go ahead on to race 8. Now, in these 6 races, to me, there's 2 races that are absolute clusters. They're dartboard races that you have to spread. And to me, it's the 2 middle legs. It's race 8 that we're going to talk about in a minute here, and race 9. In my opinion, race 8 and race 9 are the 2 biggest spread races of the sequence, and you have to spread, even if you have a smaller budget. I think those are the 2 races that you want to spread on. So let's talk about those 2 races. Let's first talk about race 8. Race 8 is 7 furlong dirt, older horses. It's the San Carlos. It is grade 2 for $200,000. And the first thing I want to say is the sprinters on the West Coast are not very impressive right now. It's not a great crop of sprinters. The best sprinters are clearly on the East Coast and in the Midwest. So for grade 2, I do not think this is a very strong field. It's a 9-horse field. You've got Storm the Court on the inside. Extra Hope, who's turning back for Richard Mandela. Major Cabby, who's coming off a very long layoff for Peter Miller of over a year. Manhattan Up, the 4, who's a big price morning line. Strong Constitution for Doug O'Neill and Florent Giroux, who's in to ride, of course, on the day. He's also a big price, 21. You have Brickyard Ride, who wired the Cal Cup Sprint last time, very impressively with a 99 buyer. I believe the highest buyer, last out buyer in the field. He's obviously going to take a lot of money. You have Exalted for Mike Smith, who's only had 4 lifetime starts for Peter Erden. You have Loudmouth, who's also a California bred, who finished in 4th to Brickyard Ride, 2 back, and won his last race in allowance. And then you have Tigre de Sluggo, who was the favorite in the Brickyard Ride race and finished 2nd, another Calbred. So you got 3 Calbreds. Not that there's anything wrong with California breds, but you have 3 Calbreds in a open company grade 2 race going 7 furlongs. So let's talk about my A's. First of all, I would have a very hard time believing Storm the Court is me 5-1. That seems ridiculous to me. I think Storm the Court will be or should be somewhere around 3-1. In fact, I will say that I think Storm the Court should be the favorite. This horse obviously was fantastic in his 2-year-old season. Didn't have the best 3-year-old year, obviously. Struggled. Then they put him on turf and he was reborn. Now they're going back to the dirt. But I'll tell you what, he's been working bullets. He's tons the class in this race. And if he runs back to any of his dirt races, you can see his dirt races are in the high 80s, low 90s. He's absolutely a player. I'm not usually a fan of the rail going 7 furlongs at Santa Anita, But what's weird about this race is there's not a lot of early speed in this race. I think Storm the Court can just sit off a Clubhouse Ride. I think he's a better horse than Clubhouse Ride going 7. And if I had to pick a top choice, it would be Storm the Court. Storm the Court is an A for me in this race. Another A for me in this race is going to be Brickyard Ride. Now, I am very, and let me repeat, very dubious here of the distance. You see his PPs, his mainly going 5, 5.5, and 6. This horse has never gone this far. He ran a monster race last time. Can he repeat it this time? I would, generally speaking, I would be completely against this horse in most scenarios. The problem is he looks like he could be loose again on the lead. And when you have a horse that's going to be loose on the lead, that is always dangerous. I would never, ever put a win bet on this horse. However, in a 20-cent mandatory pick 6, he's got to be an A for me just because of the pace situation. But he would not be my top choice. If I had to lower a horse down to a B, it might be this horse. But again, if he wires the field, at 4-1 and knocks me out of a pick 6, I would be very upset about that. So I'm going to probably keep him as an A, but I think he's got some possible distance issues. The horse that I liked a lot, and by the way, when I put my ABC ticket together, it was before the morning lines came out. I thought the 9 Tigre de Sluggo was actually going to be more like 5-1 morning line. You see he finished second, but I want to take a look at this replay. The replay we're going to watch is Tigre de Sluggo against Clubhouse Ride. And actually, Loudmouth was in this race also. So there's 3 horses in this race that are running on Saturday. The 1, 6, and 8. And what you need to do is watch the 6 at the beginning of the race and then the 1 on the turn. But again, the 1, 6, and 8, I'm going to let this run. So Loudmouth is the 6, so I don't really like on Saturday. And Clubhouse Ride is the 8. The 1 is Tigre de Sluggo. So Clubhouse Ride didn't break perfectly, but then you can see he shoots the lead. And the 6 steadied right there. I don't know if you could tell, but he did steady right there. And you can see Brickyard Ride is just getting a very comfortable lead. No one's even around him. They did go legitimate pace. And you do see Loudmouth now moving up on the outside of the 6 horse. And he's getting a perfectly good trip. You see 21 and 3. Here's Tigre de Sluggo. Watch the 1 right here. He steadies once, he steadies again, and he steadies a 3rd time. He's still looking for room. Look at this. Look at the 1. He's still looking for room. He still is looking for room. Now, he finally gets in the clear and has some running room. You can see the Loudmouth is in 3rd. He sort of flattens. Just watch Tigre de Sluggo is the 1, who's way back right here. He finally is able to gather, and he's coming. Now, Clubhouse Ride is on the wrong lead. You can see he's on the wrong lead right there, going very fast. Loudmouth flattens out on the outside, and here comes the 1, Tigre de Sluggo, absolutely flying on the inside. And check out this gallop out. I've talked about gallop outs on this show, and here comes the gallop out right now. And look at that. Here's the 1. Tigre de Sluggo has already blown by Clubhouse Ride. Probably a furlong after the wire. So, to me, in my opinion, Tigre de Sluggo is a better horse than Clubhouse Ride at this distance. So, that's why I might downgrade Clubhouse Ride. But again, the problem is that Clubhouse Ride looks like he's loose again. Let's take a look at the pace scenario of this race. Storm the Court, like I said, I think will be stalking. But, in the Kentucky Derby, he was right off of 46 and 2 and 110 and 1, going 1.25 miles. So he can definitely show speed. I don't think he's got Clubhouse Ride speed, but he's going to be sitting pretty close to Clubhouse Ride, I believe. A stat on Extra Hope, for those of you that like the 2. Richard Mandela, last 5 years in dirt stake races with a 60 to 100 day layoff. So again, off of a 2 to 6 month layoff in dirt stakes, Richard Mandela is 1 for 9. That is not a good stat. Again, Richard Mandela, last 5 years, off of a layoff, 2 to 6 months with a dirt horse, is 1 for 9. That gives me a little bit of cause for pause with Extra Hope. I'm not sure that he's going to be fully ready for this race, and I'm not sure he wants to go a little bit longer. You saw he beat Midcourt in November at Del Mar going a mile and eighth. I'm using Extra Hope as a B. I could downgrade him to a C, but he's obviously got some class. He ran against Flagstaff in 2019 going 7. So the distance is fine for him. I think he wants to go longer, but I'm using Extra Hope as a B horse. Again, you don't need to write these down. I'm showing you my ticket at the end. The other horse I'd use as a B is Exalted. Now, Exalted looks very slow on paper. You see he's only run 190 and then high 80s. I'm not going to show the replays last, but he beat a nice horse who was coming back called American Theorem. This is Mike Smith in a graded stake race. He's got a good post. He's got upside. He's been working well. I'm not going to let Mike Smith beat me at a price in a graded stake race. I'm using Exalted as a B. I'm expecting him to step up and improve third off in the third start of his form cycle. And I think you're going to see an improvement from him. The other B horse I would use, and again, I might downgrade him later, would be the 8, Loudmouth. You can see his run consistent figs in the low 90s. He didn't beat Brickyard Ride or Tigre de Sluggo 2 back, going 6. I might be grading this horse too high. I'm probably going to drop Loudmouth down to a C, to be perfectly honest. Depending on the size of your ticket, I don't think you have to use Loudmouth, although I do like the post. As C horses, I would consider at least Major Cabby. Now look, and this is only on your bigger tickets. C horses don't cost you a lot. Peter Miller is fantastic off of layoffs. I don't have the stat in front of me, but he puts Flavius on this horse. This horse has back numbers that fit. This would be a huge ask to win this race going 7, but on bigger tickets, I would consider throwing him in there. The 4 Manhattan Up, I don't think this horse is impossible. He's run figs that are competitive. Again, a low 90s buyer might be good enough to win this race. I'm throwing him in as a C. I'm almost for sure going to throw him in because if the pace does get hot, he can close. And then Strong Constitution, I would consider as a C horse only because I don't think he's a turf horse. He's got blinkers off for Drew and O'Neill, and he's run 2 races on dirt that fit, although against much cheaper. So again, the 3, 4, and 5, I don't know if I would use really for sure in my sequence. I have the 3, 4, and 5 as C's. Of those 3 horses, I like the 4 the best, Manhattan Up. I don't really need the 3. I probably don't need the 5. Loudmouth, the 8, I'd probably downgrade. But again, my top choices are 1, Storm the Court, and 9, Tigre de Sluggo. The 6, Clubhouse Ride. I don't know if he gets the distance, but he could get loose. And the price horse that I would use in this race, other than the 4 Manhattan Up, would probably be Mike Smith on the 7, Exalted. I think is interesting because I think third start of the form cycle, he could improve. That's how I see that race. Let's go ahead and move on to the next leg. So that was the San Carlos. Let's move on to the next race. And let me tell you something, folks. I mentioned this on Twitter. What an incredible race this is going to be. I think you could make a strong argument this could be the most competitive and best race of the entire day. This is the Grade 1 Frankie Kilroy Mile. It's always one of the best races that Anita has on turf for their championship spring meet. It's a Grade 1. They're going 400,000. You have horses coming in from all over the place. I've talked about this many times, as have many other excellent handicappers and prognosticators. In general, the East Coast turf horses are just better than the West Coast turf horses. It's been proven time and time again. Chad Brown did it in the fall. He came over with some horses and just was dominant on Del Mar over Thanksgiving weekend last year. These East Coast horses, just in general, are better. To me, this is another big-time spread race. So let's go over it. This is a 10-horse field. You got Smooth Like Straight, who's the one, I already mentioned him. He's the one that barely beat Whisper Not. You see this horse is ultra consistent, 4-1. Hit the Road, also 4-1. You have Social Paranoia for Todd Pletcher coming in from the East Coast with Abel Cedillo, 8-1 morning line. That just shows you how competitive this race is. Royal Ship, a horse I am very interested, is 15-1 morning line. First time gelding, Mike Smith, Richard Mandela. Spirit Animal is the other Chad Brown. I frankly don't like Spirit Animal at all in this race. But he's setting him over here, so that's a little bit interesting to me. Flavius is another Chad Brown. I like Flavius a lot. We'll talk about him for Flavian Pratt. Casa Creed for Bill Mott. Again, coming from the East Coast with some very good back numbers. Count Again, who was at Woodbine, now stable in the West Coast for Phil D'Amato. Also has run some big races. He's 12-1. Then you have Ride a Comet, a reclamation project from Mark Cassie. And boy, has this horse turned his career around. You can see he's been running some huge races. He's won 4 in a row. And they have Flying Scotsman for Calumet Farms, Jack Sisterson, English Channel is the cider. So how do I see this race? Let's talk about the pace. We'll talk about my A's first. I have 4 A's in this race, 4 of them. And you're going to see a theme here. They're mainly East Coast horses for the reasons I talked about. One of my A's is Social Paranoia. Social Paranoia, to me, does not want to go long. I think the mile is right up this horse's alley. He had the lead, or was right on top of the lead, in the Pegasus Turf Invitational against Colonel Liam, who's the best middle distance turf horse in the country right now. Ran a big race. I see no reason why he can't run a big race again. And again, I think the mile is a perfect distance for Social Paranoia. If he's 8-1, I'd be surprised, but he could be. I'm using Royal Ship as an A. Might be a mistake, but I'm looking for some prices here. Royal Ship, he was obviously from Brazil. In his 2 races that he ran last summer, look who he ran into. He lost to Mo Forza twice. Mo Forza was on an absolute roll at that point. And if Mo Forza had stayed healthy and ran in the Breeders' Cup turf mile, I really believe he would have been second choice, and he would have had a serious chance to win the race. So Royal Ship has faced a complete monster in Mo Forza, and he hasn't been embarrassed. He's lost by 4 lengths with buyers in the 96 and 97. Royal Ship has to improve. A 96 or a 97, I don't think is going to win this race, to be honest. But Mandela's given some time off, more time to acclimate. He's first-time gelding. He's been working great, and he's got Mike Smith. This horse could be, he probably will be 15-1. I see no reason why this horse can't step up and win at a price. I'm hoping he runs. I'm probably going to put Royal Ship somewhere in some trifectas. I don't love this horse like I love Mishriff, but I think he's very interesting at a price. I'm using him as an A. Another A I have is Flavius. Again, consistent. He's run on the East Coast. He's run some very good races. Barely lost last time to Count Again, who frankly got a better trip than Flavius did. He's got Pratt. I have no negatives against this horse, other than the fact that he's burned some money and he's a 6-year-old, but he's definitely a player in this race. And then my other A horse is 9 Ride a Comet, who has just been awesome in his last few races. He beat Pink Lloyd 2 starts back, who was just a complete monster up in Canada. And his last race was not the best trip. He had to go 3 wide and still beat Casa Creed. I like him. I like Drain Van Dyke on this horse. This horse has a wicked turn of foot. All he needs is the trip, and he can win. But folks, there are many other horses. I see Tom commented. Tom, you also like Exalted. I agree. I think Exalted can absolutely win that San Marcos. There's other horses I'm using. As a B, I'm going to use Strong Like Straight. Now, or Smooth Like Straight. Here's my opinion on Smooth Like Straight. I'll be brief. This is his first time against older horses. This is a very good, consistent horse. But I've watched this horse a lot. He does not strike to me as a horse who has that sort of quick turn of foot. When you're going a mile against some of the best horses in the country, you need to have a quick burst. I've never really seen a quick burst of speed from Smooth Like Straight. He's a little bit more of a grindy type, and he's going to have the inside. Maybe they're going to send him. I don't really know. But I just have a feeling that when push comes to shove and you have some serious horses coming at him that he's never faced before with quick bursts of speed, I'm not sure he's that good. He's good, but he's not an A for me. He is a B. Hit the Road. Got a dream trip last time, but ran huge. I was against Hit the Road last time, to be very honest with you, off the long layoff. He ran a giant race. I could not have been wrong, but he got a perfect trip. Can he get that same perfect trip again and beat these horses? Yes, if he continues to improve. It is worth mentioning, I want to mention, that Umberto Rispoli, who's riding the 1, did have a choice between the 1 and 2, and you can see that in the PPs. Plus, it was mentioned online, and he's chosen the 1 over the 2. So I just want to mention that Rispoli is choosing the 1 over the 2, but it was a tough decision, and he likes the 2 also, Hit the Road. Hit the Road is a B for me. He's just going to have to prove it to me again. Obviously, he can win. Must use. I'm using Casa Creed, the 7, as a B. Again, because he's got East Coast form, he has tactical speed, which a lot of these horses don't. He's got tactical speed. I like that. I think he's going to sit right off of Smooth Like Straight. I think Casa Creed is the player for Velasquez, who had a big day last week at Gulfstream. And the other horse I'm using as a B is Count Again. I don't know what happened last time. He was absolutely horrible as the favorite in the San Gabriel. He was eased. But since then, he's been working great. This horse has a monster close. I think Count Again wants to go longer. So I will say that. That's why he's not an A for me. I don't think a mile is his best distance. But if he gets the right setup and there's a fast pace, Count Again is going to close like an absolute train. So the only horses I'm not using in this race, I'm not using Flying Scotsman, who, by the way, ran a 102 buyer last time. But this is a totally different kind of race and pace scenario. I just cannot see him weathering this field and winning at all. And the other horse I am not using is Spirit Animal. Now, Spirit Animal did get in a little bit of trouble last time, but he's just never proven in his life they can run with these horses. If he wins, I know it's Chad Brown, I know it's Klarovich, I know it's Rosario. If I have the money, I'll throw him in as a C. But if he beats this field, so be it. I don't really know what to say. I see Barry O'Brien commented race 9, this race. You like the inside 1, 2, 3. Yeah, listen, Barry, all these horses fit. I have absolutely no complaints. Smooth Like Straight's a nice horse. Hit the Road's a nice. Absolutely. All these horses can win. Let's talk about the pace scenario a little bit. And Richard, I see your question. Thank you. We'll get to you also. Smooth Like Straight, 117 early pace for him. He's going to be up close. He doesn't have to have the lead, but he'll be up close. Hit the Road is more mid-pack. Social Paranoia mid-pack. Royal Ship probably a little further back. Spirit Animal further back. Flavius mid-pack. Casa Creed, I think will use his speed. I think he'll be up close a little bit. Count Again will be way back. Ride a Comment mid-pack. Flying Scotsman should be up close. If you want to make the argument that Smooth Like Straight is going to wire the field, he might. But again, he's not like a blazing speed horse. I don't think anyone's going to get an easy lead in this race. And I think I think it should be an honest pace, but not crazy fast. Richard asked, it says the 2 looks like he could improve second off the layoff. Who would you like to ride for McCarthy or Blacker? So again, who would I like to ride, the 1 or the 2? It's a great question. If I was riding these horses, first of all, I wouldn't survive because I'd probably fall off right at the break. I think Hit the Road is more talented. I really do. Hit the Road was a very good horse early in his career. He's always been, he finally figured it out last year as a 3 over Dan Blacker. They've always said they just want to give this horse some time to develop. He's only a 4-year-old. Even though he got a perfect trip last time, I mean, he looked like a grade 1 horse last time. And again, he has a quick burst, okay? I don't think Smooth Like Straight has a quick burst. And when he needs it, I'm just not sure that this is going to be his best distance. I think his best distance could be a little bit longer. Again, this is his first start against older horses. Smooth Like Straight has never faced horses like this. There's no question. Hit the Road, frankly, has not either, but I like Hit the Road's upside a little more. So to answer your question, Richard, I like the 2 more in this race, but frankly, I'm using them as Bs right now. I will say, full disclosure, folks, I'm just going to say flat out, I'm going to use as many A's as possible. Right now, I have 4 A's. I might, put Hit the Road also as an A. I'm just looking at my picks. I might put Casa Creed as A. I don't think, count again the H, I think he's going to stay as a B, because I think this horse wants to go longer. And I think he's more of a dead closer, and I don't see a huge speed scenario in this race. I don't think they're going to be flying. And something about Smooth Like Straight, I just don't think he quite classes up to these horses. And most importantly, I don't think he has that wicked turn of foot that you need at a mile. So if I were to upgrade 2 horses, I'd probably upgrade Casa Creed to 7 and 2 Hit the Road. But again, use as many as you can in this race, in my opinion. All right, let's go on to the next race of the sequence. I wanted to show a replay. I apologize. Let me go back. The replay I wanted to show... actually, no, I'm sorry. I do not want to show a replay in this race. My apologies. Let's go to the next race. This is the penultimate leg of the sequence. And I'm going to make a statement here. You know me. I'm bold. I will, when I'm right, you'll hear that I'm right. When I'm wrong, I'll say that I'm wrong. So before we talk about the Anita handicap, 1.25 mile, grade 1, known as the big cap. A few weeks ago, I had one of my best public picks I've had in a long time, and a great hit when Mishrif won in Saudi Arabia at 19-1. I had a huge cash there with a try and a win bet, made me very happy. Fantastic. Last week, as a longer shot, I gave everyone a horse in the Florida Derby, King's Ovation. I ended up going like 30-1. I didn't love him on top. I thought he could run underneath in the try. Didn't get the trip I wanted. Finished 6th. Didn't hit that bet, but frankly, I didn't spend as much money on King's Ovation. There's a horse in this race, in the big cap, race 10, that I absolutely love as much as Mishrif. And if I'm wrong, I'll be wrong. This horse is not going to be 19-1. He's probably more like 5-1, 6-1, 7-1. But I love a horse in the Santa Anita handicap on Saturday. Let's go to the race, so let's talk about it. This is an 8-horse field. And there are some decisions that you're going to have to make in this race. Let's scroll through the field. Independence Hall ran a big race in the Pegasus, finishing 3rd to Nick's Go, getting his best buyer 104 last time. Maxfield, if you've been paying attention at all, Maxfield is an undefeated horse for Godolphin. He's been awesome. He's 5 for 5. He's not going to be 8-5 in this race. He's going to be, I'll just say 4-5, maybe even 3-5 in this spot. He's going to be a prohibitive favorite. And I'm just going to say flat out, I'm going to try to beat him. If he wins, so be it. I'm going to use him defensively, but I think he's beatable for a few reasons. Kiss Today Goodbye for Mike Smith, 8-1. Coastal Defense, 15-1. Johnny V, he's coming in from the East Coast for Dale Romans, putting blinkers on. You have Express Train, who won the San Pascal last time, running his Buyer top, getting 100 Buyer against some of these horses. We're going to watch the replay of that race for John Sheriffs and Juan Hernandez. Then you got the 6, Idol, for Richard Baltus and Joel Rosario, who is a younger horse, also finished 3rd to Express Train last time out. Tiz Magician, has speed for Mandela, also ran against Express Train last time. And King Guillermo, who's really been a big disappointment since he won the Tampa Derby last year, should flash some speed in this race for Juan Villa and Abel Cedillo. Let me talk about my A's. And like I said, I'm taking a stand in this race, guys. I have 2 A's in this race, and you're looking at them right now. My 2 top choices, and they're not in this order, are the 5 Express Train and the 6 Idol. The first thing I want to do is show you the race, the San Pasqual. This was a race for these 5 horses. You can see Express Train, Tiz Magician, Idol, King, Guillermo. They're all coming out of this race. This was a 5-horse field. I want to show you the whole race. And the reason you want to pay attention, most importantly, to Express Train, the 4, and especially Idol, the 2. And I'm going to show the whole race. So again, Idol's the 2, Express Train is the 4. King Guillermo is also in this race, as is Tiz Magician. I want you to pay attention very carefully to the 2 Idol in this race. Idol right now is in last, loping along. You see Tiz Magician going to the lead. You see King Guillermo's in second. Express Train getting a fantastic trip in behind horses. And you see Idol is in last right now. I want you to notice Idol's stride. Idol is a very long-winded, you can see his strides, he's a very long-winded, loping, galloping type. And I like that in this race. They went 23 and 4. Express Train is the 4. Again, look at Idol. Is a very long strides. I think distance is going to be great for this horse. Here's what I don't like at all. Gabe Saez has been on Idol, and I don't like this move right here coming up. He goes in between horses, sort of rushing up to get position. I don't know why he goes in between. And he's going to steady. So right now he's only, 2 lengths back? Maybe 2.5. And you see he's starting to grab. The horse is pulling. And he ends up losing. Now, all of a sudden, he goes back. And he just lost. Look where he is now. He just lost 3 lengths position. I don't know why he tried to go up in between horses there. I didn't like that move at all. Meanwhile, Express Train on the inside, still getting a great trip. As we can see, Let It Go, Mike Smith in hand with Express Train. And Idol is now in last. And now they're going pretty slow pace. Now Gabe Saez is asking Idol, you see, very hard to get going. And Mike Smith is asking Express Train to get going. But Express Train already has a 3-length lead. Right here, you think Idol's not even going to be close, right? They get to the top of the stretch. Tiz Magician is already gets beat. King Guillermo's done. You see Express Train goes on with it. But look at Idol, the 2. It looks like to me just now he's finally gaining his momentum. And he's closing very well in this race. He should have easily been second to this race. He should have been second, for sure. But he finishes 3rd. And again, watch the gallop out. I've talked about gallop outs. This horse, Idol, wants to run. Here, Idol's on the inside here. And just absolutely gallops out past Express Train without asking and goes by with that long loping stride. Here's my, let me show you, sorry about that. Let me go back to the PPs. Idol, so I like Express Train as my top choice. Excuse me, not as my top choice, but as an A. I think he's getting better as this go longer. John Sheriffs is very patient. He's got Juan Hernandez on him. I think he can get more ground. He's just getting better. He's out of Union Rags on the top. The dam didn't do much, to be honest, but I don't think distance is going to be a problem. And I think Express Train has a big shot to win this race. But let me try to sell you on Idle. And again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. He looks a little slow on paper, no question about it. But how much slower? He's not that much slower. I mean, you compare him to Express Train, he's what, 2 or 3 buyer points, maybe? A half a length slower, somewhere in that range. And I think he was much better than his last. In the December 26th San Antonio, it was the same situation where Gabe Saez, the jockey, tried to go in between, and then he came up on the inside of horses and barely lost. Here's my opinion on Idle. Idle gets Joel Rosario. Now, let me go back on camera. Idle gets Joel Rosario. Here's my hope. There's enough speed in this race. I'm going to show you some more horses in this race. There's enough speed in this race, I think, where you can close into. I want Joel Rosario to take back and just stay out of trouble and go to the outside on the far turn. I think Idle wants to run all day. I think he's like a locomotive. He doesn't have gears, okay? He's basically a galloper, and once he gets going, you can't really stop him. This is not a stop and start, quick acceleration kind of horse. He needs to be on the outside, in the clear. If Joel Rosario gets this horse on the outside on the far turn, in the clear, and they're going a strong enough pace, I think this horse can run forever, and I can easily see him going by the field in the stretch and winning at anywhere between 5-1, 8-1. I really believe it in this horse because I like the distance, I like the jockey change, I don't like the trips he's gotten his last 2, and the other factor is this is not, other than Maxfield, this is a pretty weak field. Now, let's talk about Maxfield. Because Maxfield's going to be the big heavy favorite. I'm using Maxfield as a B horse for a few reasons. First of all, I don't want to use all these big favorites as A's, number 1. So, more for value. Number 2, he's coming off of a 3-week layoff. Now, when he went from his first start to his second start, that was only a few weeks also, and he won the Breeders' Futurity. I was actually there that day at Keeneland. So the 3-week turnaround, I think Brendan Walsh and these connections know what they're doing. But he's got to ship all the way across the country on a track that he's never really worked on before, he's never really been on. And he's got to go from 1.16 to 1.25 miles. That is a big difference. That's a furlong and a half. That's like going from 6.5 to 1 mile. That is like a legitimate difference there to me. So he's going to have to stretch out. Now, is he the most talented horse in the field? Probably. Could he draw off and win by 5 or 6 and I look foolish? Absolutely. However, there's just enough here for me to go against him. Plus, this horse, with all due respect to the horses he's faced, he has not faced strong horses. In fact, we'll take a look real quick. Here's who we faced last time. Who? Sonneman? Blackberry Wine? I'm sorry, these are not grade 1 horses, not even close. Then let's go back. Sorry about that. Let's go look who we faced in the other race this year. Again, Sonneman. That's the best horse he's beaten this year. Okay, let's go back to even in the Matt Winn. Okay, this was when he was a 3-year-old. Who did he beat? Okay, New York Traffic, nice 3-year-old. Nothing spectacular though. Pneumatic, nice horse. Nothing special. Again, he's not beating anything, no grade 1 horses, anything special here. Okay? And then you have to go back to his 2-year-old season. So even though this is not the strongest field for a grade 1, I think between Express Train and Idle, I think these are 2 of the best horses he's ever faced. Now, the other horse that I haven't talked about yet is Independence Hall. I'm completely against this horse. Completely. I'm using Independence Hall as a C, maybe. I don't see any indication as to why this horse can get the distance. No one thought this horse was going to get the distance at all early in his career. And then he went 1.1 miles last time, and listen, he ran well. He was 28-1. Give all the credit to Michael McCarthy. He was an awesome trainer. I like Michael McCarthy a lot. And I like Flavian Pratt. But that was at Gulfstream on a speed favoring track where he pretty much just followed Nick's go around the track. There was not a lot of closing that went on, and that was a very, very weak edition of the Pegasus. I'm sorry, it just was. So I don't see how Independence Hall gets another eighth of a mile against these horses, again, shipping across the country, and I just don't see him gain the distance. The only way I see Independence Hall winning this race is if he guns the lead and no one gives him any respect at all, and they go 49 to the half and he just wires the field. There's other speed in this race. You've got Tiz Magician is definitely going to show speed, and you have to think King Guillermo is going to show speed. So it's hard for me to believe that Independence Hall is going to be loose on the lead. We have some listeners. Otakon, thanks for joining me. Was Independence Hall's Pegasus figure a fluke? I don't know if the figure was a fluke. I mean, Nick's Go ran a big race. The time was legitimate. When you go back and look at the Pegasus, and you look at that race a little bit, Jesus's team got a 105. Now, that was his fastest race, too. So, was the buyer inflated a little bit? Maybe. You keep going down. Sleepy Eyes Todd, he got a 94 in that race, but he's done that before, right? I mean, you go down to Code of Honor. Code of Honor got a 94. So, unless you think the number's inflated, Nick's Go got a 108, but he's run 108s before. I think the number is pretty accurate. I don't really have a problem with the buyer number. My problem is that it was a weak field for the Pegasus. I just don't think Independence Hall wants this distance. I really don't. I'm completely against this horse. If he beats me, so be it. Tom, I see you like Express Train. I agree. I like Express Train a lot. He's my second most likely winner along with Idol. He's gotten some workouts. What kind of price do you think you're going to get, Tom? That's my question. You said should get a price. I don't know. I mean, I think Maxfield's going to be 3 to 5. And I think Express Train will be your second choice. And I think 3 to 1's about right. I mean, it's not a big field. It's only an 8-horse field. I think Independence Hall is going to take some money, and I think it's bad money. So I don't know what kind of price you're going to get on Express Train. Not as big as you think, in my opinion. I just want to say I'm going to use Coastal Defense as a C because I like the blinkers on. I like that he's the fresh face. He's faced some pretty good horses, and he's gone the distance. So, and I have a lot of respect for Johnny Velasquez. And if Maxfield doesn't win, I think it's pretty wide open. So, that's my opinion there. I think you have to use some others. So, in general in this race, Maxfield could win by 10 and stay undefeated would not surprise me. I don't want anyone to think who's watching this show that I'm saying Maxfield can't win. He absolutely can win. He's going to be a huge favorite. I'm playing against him for the reasons I said, and I'm trying to get value in my pick 6. If you beat Maxfield, this pick 6 goes up quite a bit. And if you beat Maxfield and Life is Good in the first leg, now you're talking a very big ticket. And I think both those horses could lose. I don't think it's completely impossible to say both those horses could lose. In my opinion, we'll see what happens on Saturday. Let's go to the last race of the pick 6, then I'll show you my ticket. Trish, I see you've joined us tonight. Thanks, Trish. I know you're always a big fan of the show and what we've been doing. I appreciate your support. Trish was asking, she said, I was thinking about using Maxfield and Idol as my 2 A's. How many A horses would you use? So we'll show you my ABC ticket, Trish, at the end. As of this moment, I have 2 horses as my A's, and I'm using Express Train and Idol as my 2 A's, and I'm using Maxfield as a B. Trish, in my opinion, this is a 3-horse race. Maxfield, Express Train, and Idol. If you're playing a smaller ticket, I would not use any more than 3 horses in the big cap, and I think you can do an argument for only using 2 total. You have to make a decision. So I would not go if you're just playing a caveman ticket, Trish, I would use 3 horses at the most. I think you're spending too much money in this race if you're going to use more than 3 horses. in this race, and I'd probably try to use only 2, frankly, on a caveman ticket. Let's talk about the last race of the sequence. Now, the last race, and I mentioned it already, I don't like what the racing secretary did here, but he did what he did. This is a maiden 3-year-old restricted, throwing 6 furlongs on the dirt with a lot of very nice horses. You absolutely have to do your homework in this race. And like I said, I'm going to get the workout report, which of course I don't have for this show right now, but that's going to tell me some things. However, I've done a lot of research for this race, and I want to share it with you to give you information. That's why I'm here, and hopefully you can make some decisions based on the information I give you. This is a 12-horse field, and I'm just going to run through it. You've got Win Happy, who is a Run Happy. Epidemic for Ryan Hansen, ran on turf. Patron de Oro, 7-2 money line for Brian Corner, cost $300,000. Mr. Impossible has run twice, and he's ran against 2 absolute monsters, Concert Tour and Dream Shake. So he's not won, but he's faced 2 very, very good horses with respectful buyers. Sal and Louis for Alfredo Marquez, only cost $12,000. You got Vantage Point, a homebred for the Y Goods and Clifford Seiss. You have Trubic Factor, 20-1 for Peter Urton. You have Aurelia Man, only costs $11,000 for Gonzalez. Sorry for the ads here. I'm trying to get rid of these. Okay. You got First Class Dad, who is 8-1 for Jeff Bondy. Then you got 2 horses for Bob Baffert. One's a first-time starter called Following C, who actually is a homebred for Spendthrift Farms, another Run Happy. You have Defunded, great name. I'm not even going to get into the possible politics of that name. For Pegram, Watson, and Weltman, great combination. Owners for Baffert and Rosario. And then you have Chaos Reigns for Ron Ellis. Instead of showing you the PPs right now, I want to go to a different screen. And the screen I'd like to show you is some information about this race. So feel free to, of course, you can watch this later, or you can, if you're on an iPad or your phone, you could screenshot, etc. Here are some stats that I thought were worthwhile to talk about. And we've got to talk about this last race in detail. This is the last race of the Pick Six. There are many handicappers out there that are going to be inexperienced. They're just going to be throwing money out there. And if you have an advantage in this last race, that's going to help you with your ticket going forward. So I think this last race is really important to understand. First of all, the 1, Win Happy. The Run Happies, believe it or not, Run Happy, his his babies are only 2 for 48 first out. Run Happy has been a bit disappointing so far as the sire. I will say, I'm going to go off, let me just come on screen here for a second. I actually met Run Happy. We're buddies. I went to Claiborne Farm a year and a half ago. If you ever have a chance to go to any of these farms in Lexington, it is a must if you're a horse lover. I went to Claiborne, I met Run Happy, and the other big thrill for me is I also met Orb, Kentucky Derby winner, and as I was able to pet, and I gave peppermints to Warfront. Yeah, Warfront, who is worth literally hundreds of millions of dollars, and is one of the best sires in the history of U.S. horse racing. So I met Warfront, petted him, it was awesome. I'm just trying to say, if you have a chance to go to any of these farms, and I see they're opening up again, and please go to any of these great farms. These are such beautiful animals, and they're very cool to see. I just want to mention that. But the Run Happies are really not doing too well right now. They're 2 for 48. The trainer on the 2, sorry, let me just get my screen here. The trainer on the 2 is only 2 for 24, second time out with stars the last 5 years. The 3, who I'm very interested in, is bred to be very fast early. Brian Corner is 14%, decent number with his first or his last 5 years, but most importantly, the 3 has been working fast and is bred to be fast. The number 6 gets more turf bred on the bottom. Again, we'll go back to these horses. He's a little more turf bred on the bottom. However, Clifford Seiss, the trainer jockey combo, are 2 for 4 with firsters. It's a very small sample, but that's a very good stat, trainer jockey on the 6. Peter Urton on the 7 is only 10% with firsters, and I'm not sure the breeding on the 7 stacks up with some of the other breeding in this race. The number 8 is another horse I'm interested in. And I will go back to the PPs, like I said, in just a second. The 8 is a half to Wildman Jack, who is an excellent sprinter, who just won a big race, and now he's going to Dubai to run in the Golden Shaheen sprint race out there in Dubai later this month. He's a very good stakes horse. He's a half to this horse. The 8 is bred to be fast early, and he only has one lifetime start, but he faced a good field last time. Also, Doug O'Neill is 17%, good number, on dirt with layoff horses the last 5 years. In other words, when a 3-year-old is making his first start off the layoff on the dirt in the last 5 years, he's 17%. So Doug O'Neill can get a horse ready off of the layoff. I don't know if the 10 is Baffert's first run happy. I believe it's the first run happy that has run. I don't have the stat on that. This horse has been working unbelievably. You can go to XBTV. Again, XBTV.com. It is free. You can watch free workouts. He's been working with his other Baffert, the 11. He's been outworking that horse. He's got great works. The pedigree is very good. The dam was very precocious early. He should be the favorite. He is the favorite in this race. And then the other Baffert is also a nice horse, but he's been a little bit slower in the works with the 10, but not that much slower. So again, let me just go back to what I just mentioned. Again, the 3 is the one I think is very interesting. The 3 is a B for me as of right now, a B. Costs $300,000. You see the dam, I just want to show you. The dam was unraced, but if you look at the family tree, the Grand Dam, Loving Vindication, you can see was a very fast sprinter, a very precocious sprinter. So there's very good sprinting speed on the dam side, and then of course Street Boss was a fantastic sprinter for Bruce Headley. So grade 1. So the 3's got sprinting and very high class sprinting pedigree all over the place. I have Mr. Impossible right now as a C, and I might regret that, but here's my opinion on Mr. Impossible. He's run against very good horses, but he's running an 80, and I think there's some other very interesting first-time stars in this race. So I'm using Mr. Impossible as a C, but I might upgrade him to a B depending on my ticket. I'm not going to use Sal and Louis at all. There's Vantage Point. Again, this horse is 12 on morning line, has some pretty good works. And again, Clifford Seiss and Abel Cedillo are 2 for 4 with their training combinations. The dam of this horse, as you can see, pretty much produced turf horses. So these are the babies of the dam, and they look like longer on turf. So I'm just not so sure about the breeding for the 6 out of Uncle Mo. I'm not using the 7 at all. The 8 is a B for me. This is Doug O'Neill. Showed speed last time. First time out as a 2-year-old. This horse is bred, look at this. Orientate Dam with Golden Sense into Mischief. This horse is bred very well for the dirt. And the last race, you can see the top 2 finishers came out of this race and won. So he faced good horses that time. I know it was a slow buyer, 59. That was in October. This horse can be much better. He's been working well. He's bred to be fast. I think the 8's a bit interesting. Maybe as a B horse or a C for sure. First Class Dad, I don't have anywhere. Although he did get a 79 buyer last time, I just don't think that this jockey is going to win against all these really talented horses. But I might be underestimating the 9. You might want to throw the 9 on your ticket if you can afford it. Following C. Here's the horse that is my lone A. The 10 is my lone A. You might say, Howard, that's pretty risky considering it's a bunch of babies. I agree. Or a bunch of 3-year-olds, sorry. But this horse, I love the work. The works on this horse are unbelievable. The dam is out of Speightstown. You can see the dam was fast. The dam was in graded stake races. And you just look at the siblings. Look at the siblings. Again, you see sprint speed. You see, again, not a great horse, but you see sprint speed there. But again, this is a Speightstown with a run happy who worked 111, and I watched the replay. This horse is not like a lightning fast horse out of the gate. This horse does not strike me as someone who needs the lead. I think Velasquez can just break and stalk. I think this horse can pass other horses. This is my lone A. I just think he could be anything. Defunded is a B for me, the 11. He's the other Baffert. I wouldn't want to lose with him. Did not run great, but that was a long time ago at Del Mar last August. He's been off since then. He's been gelded. Bob Baffert doesn't geld his 3-year-olds that often. To me, that's a negative. He costs $210,000. He's talented, but I think the 10 is much more talented. And then Chaos Reigns for Ron Ellis ran a decent buyer. He is a C for me right now, the 12, because he's got a really good work. I didn't see that work. He raced against Dream Shake and Mr. Impossible, so he's coming out a very good field, and he could absolutely improve, and I have a lot of respect for Ron Ellis in this race. So let me just recap what I've got in this race. Sorry, let me go back, put myself on camera, excuse me. I've got the 10 is an A. I'm going to show you right now. The 10 is an A. As of right now, I have 3, 8, 11 as Bs. I might downgrade the 8, but I like the 3 quite a bit in this race as the other first-time starter. And I've got C's as 2, 4, 6, 12. All right, that is the sequence. Let's talk about ticket construction. Let's talk about my ABC ticket. Now, this can absolutely change. This is a $196.80 ticket. Guys, I'm not going to give you a $48 or $64 ticket. This is a pick 6 ticket. If you want to hit it, you're probably going to have to spend some money, unless you just want to single the big favorites and then go deeper in the others and play a smaller ticket. But again, if you're singling the big favorites, it's probably not going to pay that much. But again, I would never disparage anyone who... I'm not saying don't play a small ticket. I would never disparage anyone for playing a smaller ticket. I just think it's better to play a bigger ticket, call some friends up on the phone, get 4 or 5, 6 people together, everyone puts in $30 and just go for it. This is my ABC. Again, I don't know if this is going to be my ABC on Saturday, but this is my ABC right now. I see, Tom, you have a comment. I'll get back to your comment, Tom, there in the chat. I have Life is Good as a lone A, but if you notice, the other 2 big... And I've Whisper Not as a lone A. But I do not have Maxfield as an A. So here's the general feeling. If Whisper Not does not win, then as of right now, I have to have Life is Good. Okay? And if Whisper Not does not win, and Maxfield does win, I lose. So Whisper Not is huge. But here's what I like about my ticket. If Life is Good loses and Maxfield loses, I have a very good chance to hit this ticket, and it's going to pay big. So even though I have Life is Good as an A, I do have 2 Bs right now. So I'm trying to construct a ticket that's going to pay. All right? I will just tell you, just to be honest, I'm going to be putting together my own ticket. My own ticket's going to be $300-$400, somewhere in there. I know, that's a lot of money for some people. I completely get it. It's my only play of the day. It's pretty much my only bet all weekend. I'm not trying to hit this pick 6, guys, for $1,500. There's nothing wrong with winning $1,000. I don't want to, again, be disrespectful to anyone. I'm not a millionaire. I'm a school teacher by trade, okay? So I'm not Mr. Moneybags. But if you're going to play a bigger ticket, $300-$400, I'm trying to hit for $10,000. And I'm not going to win $10,000 by playing these big favorites on top. Now, there are other races that we could get some prices, sure. You can get a big price in the last race. You can get a big price, I suppose, in the Kilroy mile, but the 7 furlong San Carlos, you're not going to get a price even if you beat the favorite. So really, there's only 2 races I think you can get really big prices in. That's my ABC ticket. Take it or leave it. It's probably going to change, but there's a general idea. That's my idea. Now, let me talk about, Tom's got a question. Let me put myself back on camera. Don't leave yet. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for sticking around. I want to show you my caveman ticket, and then we'll wrap it up. Let me just put myself back on camera here because there is a question. Actually, there's 2 questions that have come in. Sorry about that. Tom asks, you're hoping Maxfield gets beat heavily, and let me tell you something. Independence Hall is going to get overbet. I'm almost pretty sure of that. So that Express Train should be an okay price. Yeah. Listen, Express Train could be 5-1. I guess it wouldn't surprise me. Independence Hall is going to take money, but I think the smart money is gonna, and the top handicappers, the people that are going to put in the most money, are not going to think that Independence Hall is going to get the distance. Just my gut feeling. I could be wrong. Tom also asked about, good luck with the last leg. I know, I hear you. And Tom, I hear you about the maidens. I used to hate these maiden races. But because I've been getting more workout reports, I've been learning about pedigree over the years, and I've done my homework, I've done much better. 15 years ago, I did horrible at Saratoga and Del Mar with all these baby 2-year-olds. As I've gained more experience over the years and I've done my research and I've read into things, I've actually looked forward to these races. And I've watched more replays. I think you can get prices on some of these baby races. But I understand how you feel for sure. Let's look at my caveman ticket. Now, here's my caveman ticket. It's cheaper. It's $153.60. This is like your most basic kind of ticket. I'm going 3 deep in the first, and you see the only single I have is Whisper Not. I told you, I've got the divorce papers out if Whisper Not doesn't win. He doesn't have to win the race. I just think he's very, very likely with any kind of trip at all, in my opinion. So I'm trying to make some money here, right? So I'm using Life is Good, and I'm also using 2 others. I'm going 8 deep in the 2 middle legs, and then I'm going only Express Train and Idol. And the last race, I got to pray. I'm going with the best 2 first-time stars, in my opinion. The horses that have run have not really impressed me. I really like the 3s breeding and the workouts, and I really like the 10 breeding and workouts. Again, this is just a ticket. If you want a single Life is Good, and you want a single Maxfield, and you want to use a lot more horses in the last race, go for it. There's a lot of things you can do with your ticket construction, but I strongly believe that you need to go deep in legs 3 and 4. What you want to do in the other legs is completely up to you. There's my $153.60 caveman ticket. Folks, we're not quite done yet. I want to stick around a little bit, and if you have any questions, right now is a great time to just jump on the chat. Ask me any questions about the Pick 6 sequence, about ticket construction, about the ABC method, anything you'd like to about the sequence on Saturday. Now is a great time to type a question into the chat, and I will answer your questions. But again, ticket construction is really important. Let me just throw something out there for you people that don't want to spend as much money. There's 3 heavy favorites. You got Life is Good, you've got Maxfield, and Whisper Not in that order. I can see singling those 3. Now, it's not something I would do, but I could see someone doing that. And then going spread, spread, spread in the other 3. If you go, let's just hypothetically, let's say you go single, single, single with those 3, and then you go 8 by 8 by 8. Let's just say you do that. I'm a math teacher, I can figure that out. 32 to 3. That's a $102.40 ticket. Let me repeat that. If you single those 3 horses, you single Maxfield, again, I wouldn't do this, but you can make the argument for it. You single Life is Good, you single Whisper Not, you single Maxfield, and then you go 8 deep in the other 3 legs, which I think makes sense, actually, to go 8 deep in these other 3. That is only a $102 caveman ticket. Again, it's nothing that I would personally do, but I think you can make an argument for that. Now, if you go too deep, if you go 8 by 8 by 8 in those other 3 legs, the minute you go from a single to 2 deep, you're doubling your ticket. Just by adding 1 horse in that scenario, you're adding $102 just by adding 1 horse in one of those single legs. So that's why I like to use the ABC method, because you wouldn't be adding that much. If you add a horse in as a B, it doesn't cost nearly as much money. So no one's really asking any other questions on the chat, so I'm not going to blab on. On Saturday, I will be sending out, after scratches, I will most likely be sending out on Twitter a revised ABC and or a revised caveman ticket. I don't like to send out a lot of tickets on Twitter. I want people to watch the show and get their information off of that. But again, the tickets I gave out today on the show are not my exact tickets on Saturday, because I'm going to spend more money, and I'm not going to play a caveman. I'm only going to be playing an ABC. We have one more question for trifectas. Otacon, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, would like to know, how do you go about finding show horses? Any horse can get in the money, so press and all. No. Let me say flat out, no. Not any horse can get in the money for third. Here's what I like to do with trifectas. In fact, I might do this with Idle. And I think this is something very important to talk about. My favorite trifecta play, Otacon, is the following. Find a horse that you like a little bit of a price. Somewhere between that 5 to 1 to 15 to 1 range. Take that horse, put him in all spots, so you key that horse. Let's say the 1 horse, for example, is that little bit of a price horse you like. Put that horse on top, so play 1 with a few horses with a few horses. Then do your other top choices. So your top choices with the 1 only in second, again, with a bunch of horses in third. And then as another play, your top choices with a bunch of horses with the 1 only in third. So what you're doing is you're taking your top price horse, you're putting that horse in all 3 spots. So the only thing that really needs to happen for you to hit a nice try, depending on how much money you want to spend, is you need that price horse to be in the money, and then one of your top 3 or 4 choices to win the race. It does not cost a lot of money, that trifecta. If you just play 1 horse in one of the 3 spots, for a 50-cent ticket, it can only be, $5, $10, $15 at the very most. That is my favorite trifecta play, keying a price horse in all 3 spots, and probably weighing that horse more in second and third, if you think the horse probably doesn't win. I would not just randomly pick an all button for third. The problem with that is a lot of people do that out of con, and when a 20 to 1 shot comes in third, you're actually not getting the value you think you are. Because a lot of people just throw a lot of horses in for third, and you're not actually making as much money, or the trifecta won't pay quite as big as you actually think. You get much more value playing a bigger price in the first and second slot. Hopefully that answered your question about trifectas. So it does not look like if there's any other questions, I'll wait another about 30 seconds and see if anyone has any questions. There's also, while I'm waiting for more questions, there's a big day on Saturday at Tampa Bay. Just to let you know, they have a bunch of stake races at Tampa, including the Tampa Bay Derby, which King Guillermo won last year. I might play a little small pick 4. And then New York has a big racing day also. They've got the Gotham, which is another Kentucky Derby prep at a mile. So the Gotham and the Tampa Bay Derby are big 3-year prep races also happening throughout the country. So it looks like those are all the questions. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining. I had twice or 3 times as many people watching tonight as I've had before. Next Monday, there will be my weekend review of the races. And then again, next Thursday, please join me. The last 2 Thursdays, I've actually done a live Zoom chat where people were actually able just to talk to me live, and I went through the races. If you prefer a live Zoom chat, please, again, comment down below. Do you prefer a Zoom where it's the same format, but you actually get a chance to talk to me and we can banter back and forth live? Or do you prefer a live stream where you put questions into the chat and it's just me talking? Again, comment down below which you prefer, a Zoom or actually a live chat. I'm welcome to either one. If you're going to listen to this later on in the show as the replay, I hope you enjoy the show. Please follow me on Twitter @HKravitz. Please subscribe on this YouTube channel. And as I said, comment down below also. Thanks again, everyone. Let's smash this pick 6. It's going to be a great day. Hopefully we'll get Idol home. Idol is my big play of the day in the Santa Anita handicap and the big cap. Whatever you're going to play, however you're going to play it, good luck. Smash that pick 6. And we'll talk to you again on Monday. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.